Welcome to another episode of the Behind the Shield podcast. I'm your host, Felisha Daemer, and this is the second episode of the internship series that we are starting for this podcast. So I'm going to introduce to you two of our interns, and I'll have Levi and Ben tell us a little bit about themselves. So Levi,
Sure.
introduce yourself.
I'm Levi. I'm a Security Operations Analyst here at InfusionPoints. I'm born and raised in Wilkesboro, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Also alumni of Wilkes Community College and
Same.
Appalachian State. Wilkes Community College, yeah.
Not the App State part. I'm a UNC Charlotte girl, but
App
but the
State,
WCC all the way.
Yeah, but met InfusionPoints at the Cyber Summit at App State. Got to meet some of the, I believe y'all seen him on the other podcast, Tanner Bailey, Aiden. I was also a fellow intern with Aiden. But yeah, it's a little bit about me and how I met InfusionPoints.
Awesome. Ben, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so just like Levi, I was also a WCC graduate, and I've lived here my whole entire life as well.
That's awesome.
The way I heard about InfusionPoints was actually through my girlfriend. She applied for the internship as well, but she decided to go do a different career pathway, and now I'm here. She really got me interested in cybersecurity. So
I love that. And I love that story that y'all both like switched your paths. You're like, you know what? I actually like that. And I actually like that. Let's switch. That is fantastic. So Ben, tell me about what you do.
So I'm a security operations analyst. And what we do is we do 24-hour, 365 SOC monitoring for customers. And what we look at SIEMs, we look at EDRs.
Did you know about any of that before you came here?
I knew a very little amount about that. I knew CrowdStrike was a thing. I knew Splunk was a thing.
Yeah.
That was my knowledge. That's all I knew.
What do you guys both think? I want both of you guys to answer this question. So who do you think, or did you have anybody that inspired you to get into this field? So I could start with you. Did anybody inspire you?
I would say a little bit when I was younger, at least in the IT part of it. My dad was really into IT, so growing up, he would have the latest technology. I remember when the BlackBerry came out.
Oh,
He
yeah.
had it. He used to play games on the BlackBerry and stuff like that. But he kind of instilled that seed in me to kind of like, pursue a technology-related pathway.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ben, what about with you? Do you have anybody that was inspirational to lead you to where you are today?
I would say my parents. They put a lot of influence on, free flow of do what makes you happy.
Yes.
And I'm lucky I ended up in the field I am because, as I stated before, I was going to go do something totally different, which what I was going to do was radiography. But besides the point, I ended up in cybersecurity, and I love it. I've always had a passion for electronics, computers. I owned a computer 5 years before I decided I want to do this. Yeah. And I never thought about, doing it as a career. So I'm just fortunate enough that I ended up in cybersecurity, and I love it.
Good. Well, I know we're both I said we're both like it was me and you, but I know I'm very grateful to have you here, and I know the SOC team is for both of you guys,
Definitely.
But let's talk about the internship. So you guys you were in a different year, or you, Levi, you were in a different year, and Ben, you were in a different year, and y'all both kind of had different experiences because you were a part of the initial really structured cohort that we had started. So tell me about your experience, Levi, first, and then Ben, I'll talk to you about yours because it was a little bit different. You had like a rotational style, and you had more focus on the SOC. So tell me about that.
Yeah, I know the first couple weeks of the internship was really kind of getting used to like the culture of InfusionPoints. I know, I believe you had talked about how we'd use word soup,
Acronym soup. Oh my gosh,
acronyms, yes. And I remember the first day I heard FedRAMP or NIST or DFARS and stuff like that, and I was like, this is like an alien language to me.
It literally is.
I couldn't figure out what was going on, but once you got first couple weeks of the internship, you kind of get into the flow of it. Then we started rotating through different internship programs or different departments. I believe I started out in security operations. That's also what kind of sparked a little bit of interest for me because I got to work with some of the team members. Yeah. Got to kind of like threat hunt some IOCs, indicators of compromise, stuff like that, which was really neat. And then moved on to like engineering, advisory, and then in cloud ops was towards the end of my internship.
Yeah. Ben, what about your experience? How'd you feel about going through it?
Okay, so being a non-rotational intern in the SOC, my experience started off similar as Levi's did, just culture shock. And then after that, having
You also did the MOG thing, right? You had the MOG. I
He
remember
did. I
that
remember that.
document, and I remember like you focusing on that document at the beginning. I
that
just
was the
forgot about that.
missions operations guide.
Yeah.
So me and Eric took that and we made it into more of a starting analyst procedure documents that were compressed down into multi documents on our SharePoint.
Yeah.
And with that, newer analysts that come in, it's something they can follow to learn how to triage alerts, learn how to query in each environment, each scene we have.
And that is so incredible to me because you did that from your own experience of we don't have something like this that can showcase. I mean, we had the MOG, right? But it hadn't really been updated. It really didn't have anything that you could utilize, right?
Well, you could utilize it, but the MOG was about 180 pages long.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to find what you're searching for in it. And just having those documents compressed down, I think it helps out a lot.
That was pretty awesome.
I think I remember Ben came in for his internship and you gave him the MOG to work on it. And I remember he kept scrolling through it and I was like, how long does this thing get? I was like, it took forever.
I don't think I knew how long it was going to actually be until, just looking at it, I'm like, wow.
This is a lot of information. But I just think that's awesome. You were able to take that in from your own experience and then dwindle it down or, you know what I mean? Like you had that impact and I think that is awesome. So since you guys, like Levi, you're 2 years in now, right? And Ben, you're a year in now. So what advice can you give to other students who are looking to do an internship with us? What advice can you give to them?
Oh, okay.
Whichever.
Well, first thing, watch the podcast.
Watch the podcast. I agree.
Very informational. You are going to learn a lot about this company and what you're really going to be diving into.
So that means like and subscribe, right?
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Hit that bell button. Yeah, I love that.
So we are also an AWS company, and diving into AWS would be very beneficial for any intern starting out.
I believe you had Cloud Prac before you started.
Yeah, I had Cloud Practitioner. Yeah, I was rushing to get it done before our start date.
I know it's a tremendous help. Whenever I got it, I was like, made the internship, at least solutions architect towards the end of it, so much easier to pass. Like it was night and day difference.
I agree, and it helped me out on my solutions architect as well. I had a pretty decent gap in between solutions architect and cloud practitioner. So
because you had to take
I had to take the CYSA, which that's one of the things that in the SOC it's required to have.
Yep, exactly. And like company wide, it's cloud practitioner and CYSA for SOC. It's definitely that's the focus on, and each kind of department has different needs from a certification perspective. So let's talk about certs for a minute. What can benefit, or maybe not benefit, but what? So you guys said the cloud practitioner definitely it's that foundational cert. It helps you with the language. Are there any other things out there? Any other certifications that you guys have that you feel like can be beneficial as well?
I would say it's not necessarily a cert itself, but CloudQuest. I've recommended that to a lot of people because it's more interactive than Cloud Practitioner, so you learn a lot more, and like you actually get to interact with a lot more stuff compared to Cloud Practitioner.
Yeah,
it's just memorizing definitions.
Exactly.
I agree with that. I actually went through CloudQuest as one of my classes at Wilkes, and it makes you interact with all sorts of AWS services, EC2, Systems Manager.
Yeah, I feel like I remember you telling me that too.
Of stuff.
Yeah, because I was like, that was incredible that they offered that at WCC, because I know here, like I remember I had my crew of people trying to get through that, and I was like, go through CloudQuest. You like build a game and you learn AWS.
The best thing about CloudQuest is it's free.
Yeah,
anyone can go do it. You just need an AWS account. You can sign up for it, and once you complete it, you get, I think, a 50% voucher for Cloud Practitioner.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's super cool. I didn't even realize that. I know Al, I'm going to plug Al here for a second. He's always given us discount codes for different certifications.
I'll say some more advice is just to always be learning. I know going into it, like I knew nothing. Like you take your classes and stuff like that, and you learn cybersecurity. You learn like some of the frameworks, like MITRE ATT&CK framework, some different like IOCs and stuff like that. But it's really hard to get that like hands-on experience. Like going from standard classes where you're just sitting in a classroom listening to a professor talk to being like in the mix is like
being the one doing it.
Yeah, being the one doing it. And I know a lot of the time, like during the internship program, you'll have things thrown your way and you'll be like, I don't know how to do this. But yeah, it's the fun of like figuring it out and like being like, okay, I know I can do this. Just give me some time. And like you always doing something different.
Yeah, and I always say everything is figure outable. So, and also, with being in the rotational internship, you're able to also lean on everybody else that you're in with, like whatever department you're in. You're able to then be like, hey, I have no clue how to do this, and this is something that I'm trying to figure out. What advice can y'all give me? Because I know that's one of the points of being able to push everyone through each department is to get advice from people, learn the organization. Like y'all mentioned a culture shock when you first came on. I would definitely want to dive into that a little bit more. Like culture shock of going from school into a professional organization, or culture shock because of our culture. What?
I would say professional organization. Going in from school, school gives you theory. It gives you theory of cybersecurity, theory of networking. But actually doing it, coming in, it's different.
Yeah.
It's totally different. I mean, you can
And that's
grasp
exactly
the
what
concepts.
you were trying to say about you're doing that hands-on experience. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can grasp the concepts of CIA triad, confidentiality, integrity, availability. But actually doing it
And implementing it.
Yeah, and implementing it is hard because you've never had to do that before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would say it was a big culture shock, but mainly it felt like home. I know whenever I first had like started here, because like I knew a couple people here already, and the culture is very like not like laid back. We're still a professional company.
100%.
It's just not as suit and tie and like always have to talk really proper. And it's more of a we get stuff done, but we don't have to be looking professional while we do it, which I thought was like that gritty kind of attitude where like, it doesn't matter how we look, but we're going to get it done.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And it's because we bring our authentic selves to work every single day. And our clients love that too. So I love that that's recognized, from you guys and through the internship, and then obviously being here on a day-to-day, now. So I love that. That's awesome.
So another thing with our culture, we all have hungry, humble, and smart mindsets, which pretty much the humble, hungry, and smart mentality, it is
it's from that ideal team player. Patrick
Yep.
Lacconi. Yeah, we built our culture based on that framework. And I think that's changed. I think that's totally changed us as an organization. It's starting from the beginning of that hiring process.
Yeah, with humble, hungry, and smart, it's kind of like being the ideal team player. You cross collaborate with so many teams. I know for myself, like I work with like yourself and Caitlin and working across different teams, like being that ideal team player where you can like step in and be like, oh, hey, I can like help you out, or like working cohesively as a team is really important here because you never know who you're going to be working with.
Yeah.
It could be a whole different team the next day.
And along with that, everyone wears multiple hats. You might be tasked with doing something totally different than what you're used to one day, and you're going to have to figure it out.
I think that's also a big part of us being a small organization. Something I push to people during interviews and things like that is I ask them, I'm like, have you ever worked for a small organization before? Because working in a small organization is totally different than working for a large organization. The multiple hats, true through and through. Because you're trying to do more with less. And that's who we are. So we end up just wearing those multiple hats.
I will say that's also what makes the internship so valuable because you're learning something new. I think I learned something new just about every day of the internship, like getting pulled into like certain email marketing campaigns and stuff like that, working within the SOC the same way, and then learning different departments. So you learn a ton of skills within 3-month time period, 4-month time period, something like that. But it's very valuable and unlike any other internship I think I've seen.
Yeah, because I mean, what other internship could you be a part of to where you are involved with the marketing side, or where you are involved, or also that closely related or closely in contact with like your leadership, that's something that in a large organization, like as an intern, I mean, you probably wouldn't have as many touch points with the CEO, or with the COO or any of the C-level folks. It's like you don't have that touch with large organizations. And then in the small world, you get that knowledge immediately from, the people that have been in this industry for 30 plus years.
I would say that's also part of the culture shock that we talked about earlier. It's like the first day, Chad, Gary, Jason, all the leadership was there Mike was there to introduce, like they all introduced themselves and was talking to us. Like we were interns. I'm like, what? Why am I talking to C-suite executive? I'm like, this is so great. And you learn so much because like you work with leadership more often and they're very knowledgeable and can like teach you little things and it like adds up and it's honestly amazing.
Yeah, I can definitely echo that. During your guys' internship, was there any like huge projects that you worked on, or like what was your favorite? What was your favorite project that you worked on?
I would say for us, I know some of the previous interns that had been on the podcast. We were all in the same internship cohort. We had a project. I think a lot of people probably watching this remember CrowdStrike basically stopped the world for a whole
Oh
day.
yeah, I think everyone should know about that.
Yep. I know the biggest pain point that we had in the SOC was getting a hold of people, especially customers, letting them know that because everything was down. So it's really hard to like get a hold of them at 5 a.m. and be like, hey, by the way, we have this massive outage with CrowdStrike.
Yeah.
So the interns and I came up with this idea. We're going to make an emergency calling system. So you can basically just hit a button and be like, put a script into it. And it was using AWS. I think we used Amazon Pinpoint and then implemented a Lambda function that you can just basically hit go and write a script, input phone numbers, and it'll call everyone on that distro. And we'll basically give a brief explanation like CrowdStrike has basically taken down half the world. I'm sorry, but
I'm
like
sorry.
we're actively working on
Yeah,
it.
we're
still
here.
monitoring.
Yeah.
Like we're still monitoring your environment. So, but like,
Yeah, don't panic over that. We
yeah.
still got you.
But that was probably the highlight, and I believe it actually got implemented into our command center. So
it did. And you know what was so incredible about that was I remember all of us being so floored and moved because you guys came up with that idea on your own. You came up with that idea on your own, and then you implemented it. You made it happen, and then you learned how to work together. You learned how to present an idea, and you learned how to put something together. I mean, that was very impressive, and it definitely set a bar for the rest of the interns. But we also told the internship that you guys were in, we also told them like you have a high bar to meet, but also that was very situational. We were in
it was like
a situation
once in a lifetime.
for sure. For all of us here, it was definitely once in a lifetime.
Well, I
event.
also really loved Ben's project too. It made my life a little bit easier being the website guy.
Yeah.
To do, like, development.
Yeah. So tell me about
that project. Our goal with it was employee bios. Levi has to go in and manually update every single employee bio, their picture, information, just manually, I guess.
It gets a little bit tedious.
Yeah, I'm
sometimes.
sure it
Yeah.
gets really tedious, especially when people aren't able to send you your information.
50
and stuff.
employees
Yeah,
and
50
each of them
employees.
change,
Yeah. But anyway, our idea was how do we automate that? And what we did, we tried making a form to where it could get sent out to employees, and that would get automated to where it could automatically update on the InfusionPoints website.
That's awesome.
Definitely that was also my favorite project. It made my job a little bit easier.
Yeah, because you were the end user of it. Yeah, exactly. So Levi, there was something unique I felt like with your internship, where typically with and I know we've already explained how the internship goes, but let me just like quickly give a little backstory, right? So the way the internship is we typically have CIS students and CS students come to us, and we put them through this rotation. CIS typically is going to be the ones that are broader in the way that they can either find employment in Security Operations Center, they can find it in advisory, they can find it in engineering, cloud ups, they can kind of find that anywhere. It's very broad degree. CS, typically that's going to be straight engineering. But in your case, and then also with the SOC, that's also specific. There's a specific degree like with the SOC, right? So typically with SOC, you already know that's what you're going into. With CIS students, it's like I said, it's more broad. So in your situation, you came in CIS student, right? And you were like unsure of where you wanted to be, because that's kind of the point of the internship as well, is you learning us as an organization and then finding out where you can excel the most. So that was like when you went through the internship, what do you think was the point that made you determine I want to be in the SOC over kind of any other department?
Yeah, I would say working with the team in the SOC, it's kind of like a close-knit group of guys. So, just working with them and kind of getting their input on like, day-to-day stuff like that. Also, I felt like having a cybersecurity major, like having CIS with a cybersecurity concentration really helped kind of guide me towards that. I will say I was also at a crossroads when I first started the internship, because I had my marketing degree and I also had my cybersecurity degree. And I was always looking for an internship, but there was never one that had both like kind of implemented into it. And coming to InfusionPoints, I was able to work both in cybersecurity and on the marketing team, kind of like help you guys out with with different like social posts, stuff like that. Which as far as going into the SOC though, it was mainly like working with the guys, kind of like having a little bit of background in cybersecurity, because at first I felt like I wasn't very knowledgeable. I was like, oh man, I just have this degree. Like I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
But like, you know, and then actually getting in there and working hands on, it was life changing, and like it's a really good experience. At least that's how I decided. I was like, the SOC is for me.
Yeah,
so
that's
like working
awesome.
with the team, and it's just knew I fit right in.
And I love the fact that, you know, that you did have, for me personally, I remember when we were going through resumes and I saw that and I was like, wait a minute. This is twofold right now. And then Aiden also was the same way, where I was like, he's got these multiple, where he kind of was trying to decide what he was going to get his degree in. It was like the same way where he was like, I have, you know, supply chain management under my belt. He had like all these other kind of things that he had. I was like, you guys have a diversification in your skill sets. And that's what we look for, is diversification. The fact that you had marketing and had CIS with cybersecurity, that was like, this is perfect. This is what we need. Because we also needed a way to be able to get our word out from a cybersecurity perspective, but in a marketing way. And I was like, this guy must have these two things in his head, and I love it. And you do. You participate and you help so much on the marketing side. I'm eternally grateful. Awesome. Well, guys, it has been a pleasure interviewing both of you. And I shouldn't say interview. This has really been an awesome podcast of flowing conversations. But we always like to ask some fun, off the wall, very profound questions. So be prepared for the profoundness that's going to come out of this. What do I want to ask you guys? What's a fun one? Let's see. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you travel with money is not a concern? Say you're a billionaire.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
Does the moon count?
It does. Yeah, it could be outside of the world. Totally.
There you go, the moon.
I love that. Why the moon? Why the moon?
I don't know. Not that many people have went there before. I think it'd be a really cool experience. The low gravity.
That'd be a really cool thing to put on your resume.
Yeah, it would be.
Also, I went to the moon.
Visited the moon recently.
I know, at least for myself, I would say I would love to go to Germany. I have family over there, and I've never got to visit them. So they live near like Frankfurt, Germany. So I'd love to go over there and be able to like. My little brother was actually just over there, but he got to visit like Austria, like kind of near Germany. I would love it so much.
Yeah.
But.
I did a study abroad in Germany because German was my not my minor. I think I was going to make it a minor, and then I thought it was going to be too much. Bit. Yeah, me too. Oh, that's
East High to Levi.
Yeah. Well, I would say, that's so funny. I love that. I always say you can talk to me like a 5-year-old, but I've definitely lost most of my skills. For sure.
I took one class in college, and I think I forgot about half of it.
Yeah. No, I took a couple, and like I said, we did a study abroad, but it was like a 10-day abroad study. It wasn't like an entire semester. It was pretty cool. And I fell in love.
What was your favorite part of Germany?
Oh my! Honestly, it was standing on like the Berlin Wall that they have. It's like a. I
don't mean to cut you up. My mom was living in Germany when the Berlin Wall fell.
Really?
Yeah, she was 8, 9, or something.
That happened exactly a month after I was born. I know that because it was November of '89. November.
But they were living on the Air Force Base over there, and they were there when the Berlin Wall fell.
See, that's so cool.
Yeah, I think I might change mine in Germany as well.
Really?
I didn't even think about the historical factors and stuff.
Yeah.
History wise, that'd be really cool to go see.
And but yeah, that Berlin, where they have like, because you can see, I mean, it cuts across the whole, all of Berlin. Like it cuts across the whole thing, and it's like a trail of bricks, and then you can like walk that whole trail and see where the Berlin Wall actually was, and that was really cool. We visited a whole bunch of places, but I felt like I could feel something there. It was really intense.
Whenever my family travels over there, they're like, they don't have ice over there. Apparently,
they don't have ice.
They don't prefer to, like, if you get like a soda
Nothing
or something, like they won't put ice in it.
No,
like it's I couldn't get used to that, but
yeah.
I think it'd be awesome to travel.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And also, when you're over there, like everyone wants to speak English with you, but you're like, I want to practice my German with you. So you end up speaking, I'm going to speak German to you, and then they will end up speaking English back to you. So it's like you're both getting practice time out of it, which is really cool. And everyone was so welcoming, and it was really cool. It wasn't like, oh, you don't speak German, I'm not going to speak to you.
You're like,
no.
Oh, you're a tourist, I don't want
to. Yeah, or you're no, it was complete opposite. They have this huge mall there that's like stories tall. It's insane. It's the most insane I've ever seen in my life. But they call it like the New York of Europe, I want to say. I don't even think it's just of Germany. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. But something like that. It's like the New York of Europe. And so being in this mall, it's insane. It's like a whole other country itself is being in this mall.
Man.
But everyone was so nice. Everyone just they want to speak to you too. And I'm like I said, I want to practice my German. So can I practice my German with you? And they will get so excited about it. So even if you only know a little bit,
Well, I
you
know
can definitely make your way.
my little brother got back from Italy, and like they don't like tourists as much.
Huh.
But he went to Germany, and they were like, they love him.
Yeah.
Like, they loved him being there.
Yeah.
But
Well, it
yeah.
sounds like you need to make a plan
I
and a
need
trip to get over there, get your passport, make the plans.
I got my passport. I got it
Look, you're
handy.
already on
I
the
just
way.
I need to book the flight over there.
Yep. Book the flight, put in the PTO request, and get on out here.
Eric, if you're listening to this,
Yeah.
if there's
Eric's,
some PTO.
yeah, Levi's putting in PTO for that. Awesome. Well, guys, this has been fantastic. I think since we just dove into that and had a whole beautiful conversation with it, I think that was good. So thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. And that is all. Cheers.